Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new session. It's a new week again, and hence we are back with more sessions of NET, right? NET exam is around the corner, so it's high time that we study a lot and keep it in the loop. So we're back with a new session. So, good evening and welcome. If you're new to our channel, please do subscribe. And if you're watching this video right now, please do share. Because in this session also, we have amazing questions and we are looking forward to a session of amazing discussion. So let me start by sharing the screen. Yes, the screen is visible. Are you all ready for the session? Good evening and welcome. Hi. So, this is our session number 21 of NET, a revision. So let's move on to the first question of tonight. Let's move on to the first question for tonight. Symbolic violence is a term coined by Dash. Symbolic violence describes a type of non-physical violence manifested in the power differential between social groups. Who talked about this concept of symbolic violence? It describes a type of non-physical violence manifested in the power differential between social groups, where they're not physically fighting or showing their power, but the power dynamics is silently there. It was Pierre Bourdieu who talked about symbolic violence. Pierre Bourdieu had talked about symbolic violence, but the violence is not exerted physically, but through other means, but the power dynamics is silently present. Okay, and that's how the social groups are arranged in a particular order in a society because of this power dynamics. So symbolic violence of Pierre Bourdieu. Pierre Bourdieu was a very popular writer, cultural theorist, and scholar. He also wrote the work Distinction, which critically comments on the idea of taste. How taste, T-A-S-T-E, entails itself with the idea of class, elitism, distinction. That's also a work by Pierre Bourdieu. Bourdieu talked about cultural capital. He talked about habitus. Right? So Pierre Bourdieu is very, very important. Got it? Yes. Please like the session, guys. Yeah. Okay. Next. The making of a counterculture. Reflections on the technocratic society and its youthful position. It's a work of non-fiction by Dash. All these are very important questions from cultural studies. and that indeed very important from the perspective of NET exam. Who wrote the book, The Making of a Counterculture? It's by Theodore Roszak. It's by Theodore Roszak. Who talked about subculture? Who talked about subculture? Dick Hebdige. Dick Hebdige talked about subculture. And The Making of a Counterculture is by Theodore Roszak. Theodore Roszak. Okay, right. Convergence culture is a theory which recognizes changing relationships and experiences with new media. Dash is accepted by media academics to be the father of this term, convergence culture, with his book, Convergence Culture, where old and new media collide. So who is the father of this idea, of this concept of convergence culture? He also wrote a book of the same name. And it's a theoretical framework which identifies and recognizes changing relationships and experiences with new media. So who is it? The father of convergence culture is Henry Jenkins. Henry Jenkins is the father of convergence culture. Convergence culture. Okay, right. Next, global village. It refers to a cultural concept coined by Dash. So this global village, what does it mean? It describes the world as a single community connected by electronic media or to a specific entertainment destination, such as a large cultural park in Dubai or a luxury resort in Chikmagalur, India. Especially standing in this 21st century, in this year 2025, we can see this indeed. This whole world has become a global village where we are constantly connected to each other through the electronic media, be it Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or YouTube or Snapchat or whatever. Electronic media has made the whole world a village, a single community, global village, a single community. So who talked about this concept of global village, where the whole world becomes a single community? It was Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan had talked about this concept of the global village. Global village, where the whole world becomes a single community connected to each other by electronic media. We are doing video calls and we're seeing people who are continents apart. Suppose I am in Asia, right? I am in India and someone is sitting in London, for example. We can just do a video call and see each other and talk to each other. And that's how the whole world has become a single community. Right. So it was Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan. And now the biggest thing. So if you are planning to prepare for 2026 NET exam. Here we are bringing to you 6 months online course of NET. This course will start from the month of January of 2026. In this course, we will offer you live classes for both paper 1 and paper 2. And if you enroll in this course, you will automatically get our books. Vallath books, all our encyclopedias and all. And as a bonus, as a gift, we will give you free crash course for December 2025 NET. That will be a gift from our side. You won't have to pay for it. So if you join before 15th of December, you will get this gift. So enroll now and be a part of Vallath and start preparing for your 2026 NET exam. The course will start from January. Okay, right. Okay. Got it? Yes. Please like the session. Okay. Trauma and Recovery by Dash argues that psychological trauma is both an individual and a social or political issue, and outlines a three-stage recovery process, establishing safety, remembrance, and mourning, and a reconnection with ordinary life. This book draws parallels between private traumas like abuse and public ones like political terror, emphasizing that healing requires acknowledging the trauma, undoing isolation, and empowering the survivor through community and support. This book is a major work from trauma studies. This book is a major work from trauma studies. Trauma and Recovery. So, who wrote this work? Trauma and Recovery. It's a major work from trauma studies. Trauma studies. It is by Judith Herman. Judith Herman. Judith Herman wrote the work Trauma and Recovery. It's a major work from trauma studies. And it argues that psychological trauma is both an individual and a social and political issue. And she lays before us a three-stage process of a recovery, which starts with establishing the safety, remembrance and mourning, and lastly, your reconnection with the ordinary everyday life. Trauma and Recovery by Judith Herman. It's a major work from trauma studies. Trauma studies. Okay, right. In Modernity, an unfinished project, Dash argues that modernity is a positive, ongoing project based on reason and democracy, which aims for social progress through institutions, but is still incomplete. This writer, this theorist, critiques postmodernists for dismissing modernity entirely and suggests that instead of radical rejection, we should complete modernity's project by improving existing systems and using a rational dialogue to achieve a more just society. So who is this theorist who said that modernity is an unfinished project? Modernity is an unfinished project. Who said it? It was Jürgen Habermas. Jürgen Habermas. He also talked about the concept of public sphere. Public sphere. Modernity is an unfinished project by Jürgen Habermas. He argues that modernity is a positive ongoing project based on reason and democracy, which aims for social progress through institutions, but it's still incomplete. Got it? Right. Next. How We Became Posthuman by Dash argues that the post-human era is already here, and it is characterized by the blurring of lines between the human and the machine through cybernetics and informatics. Posthumanism is very important these days. Lots of questions are coming from this area of cultural studies, right? Posthumanism, digital humanities, all these are very important. So who wrote this work? How We Became Posthuman. How We Became Posthuman is by N. Catherine Hales. N. Catherine Hales wrote How We Became Posthuman. How We Became Posthuman. Okay, right. 4321. It's a 2017 novel by Dash. It describes 4 alternative versions of the life of Archie Ferguson in the 1950s and 60s and explores how an individual's life and personality is shaped by chance and circumstance. 4321. It's a novel by an American author. It's a work by an American author. So tell me, who is that American author who wrote this work? 4321. 4321. It is by Paul Auster. It is by Paul Auster. He wrote 4321. Paul Auster is an American author, very popular. All right, next. A Refuge, an Unnatural History of Family and Place is a book-length essay by environmentalist Terry Tempest Williams. This book explores the relationship between the natural and unnatural, along with condemning the American government for testing nuclear weapons in the West. It's a major text of ecofeminism. It's a major text of ecofeminism. It is absolutely true that a refuge, an unnatural history of family and place. It's a book-length essay by the environmentalist Terry Tempest Williams. And this work explores the relation between the natural and the unnatural, along with condemning the American government for testing nuclear weapons in the West. A Refuge by Terry Tempest Williams. It's a major work of ecofeminism. It's a major work of ecofeminism. Okay, got it? Okay. And the last question for tonight, Modern Painters by John Ruskin was published in which year? You all know this, very familiar work. Modern Painters by John Ruskin was published in the year 1843. 1843. In this work, John Ruskin had talked about the concept of pathetic fallacy. Pathetic fallacy. Okay. Modern Painters by John Ruskin, published in 1843, talked about the concept of pathetic fallacy. Pathetic fallacy. Oh, one more question, surprise. How it feels to be colored, me. How it feels to be colored, me, is an essay by Dash, published in the World Tomorrow and described as a white journal sympathetic to the Harlem Renaissance authors. Who wrote this essay? How it feels to be colored, me. It was published in the journal The World Tomorrow. It was a white journal that was sympathetic to the authors of the Harlem Renaissance. But who wrote this essay, How It Feels to Be Colored Me? This essay was by a major author who belonged to this group of Harlem Renaissance. It was Zora Neale Hurston. Zora Neale Hurston, who wrote the novel Their Eyes Were Watching God. Their Eyes Were Watching God. She had authored that novel. She also wrote the essay, How It Feels to Be Colored Me. How It Feels to Be Colored Me. It's an essay by Zora Neale Hurston, a major figure from Harlem Renaissance. Okay, right. So that's all from our side for tonight. I really hope this session helped you with some more revision from cultural studies and other areas. Keep studying, read extra, and I will be back again tomorrow exactly at 9 p.m. at our Vallath YouTube channel. And you can join our 6 months online net course for 2026. This will start from the month of January. Okay? Yes. So before you leave, please like the session, and I will see you all again tomorrow at 9 p.m. And do let me know in the comments if you like the session. Okay? Chalo. Bye. Take care and good night. Okay? Bye.